Special thanks to Robert Wayne Footwear and Doc Martin.
That's right. It's the Takeover Show, Power 106, DJ Reflex, and a friend of mine stopped by, man. Happy to have him here. Childish Gambino. What's up, man?
I'm good. How you, Reflex?
It's good, man. Everything's good. It's been a minute, and you came in because you were playing me the new album, man.
Yeah, we were just playing a couple of tracks on the album. I hope you guys liked it. It was fun.
Yeah, and I was really looking forward to it because, we've talked before, but I appreciate your ability to take a lot of information that you see and a lot of different music and visuals, and whether it's film, TV, and such, and it's interesting to see how you compact that into your project musically.
No, yeah, I just want to make worlds. I'm not interested in making albums anymore.
Yeah,
because I've said this before, is people just rip albums. It's easy,
Sure.
Not in a bad way. I want my album to be ripped. I feel like if your album is released and there's no leak beforehand,
right.
It's kind of
right.
That's bad. I want people to be looking for it and searching for it. I see people with countdowns and people being like, this hasn't leaked yet. Why hasn't this leaked?
Sure.
It's cool. You want people to want it, but there's got to be more. It can't just be the album.
Right. But even the musicianship in this, as I was listening to it, I noticed there's a lot of moments where things happen and then they don't happen again.
Yeah,
It's just moments, or the fact that you played me a record that I don't think we can play tonight, but this record featuring where you have Mystical doing just the ad libs.
Yeah.
Right, and that reminds me of when Kanye with "Can't Tell Me Nothing" was I just want Jeezy for his ad libs, and using voices as instrumentation, and it's just really creative, and I think it's cool that you've kind of put those ideas together.
Yeah, I mean there's a script that goes with the album, and there's characters and we're shooting stuff that goes with it. I think we wanted to tell a story. The whole thing's a story, but we also were if you listen to this album and you don't have the script and you don't know, it's enjoyable at the very least. I want people to live in the world. I want the live show to be crazy.
Yeah.
I want it to be better than anybody else's. I feel like I'm capable of that. So having different voices, Mystical and doing stuff was part of let's have a character come in, let's do it, because his voice is crazy.
Right.
I can't replicate that. I can't he has that energy. So you just try and use it to paint.
Yeah, and there's this other moment, I forget one of the records you played, where it almost felt like a Sigur Rós type of record, where it had this this rise at the end, and then it just kind of disappeared, and it was to me, I'm going, that's freaking awesome. It was just a moment, and I feel like your album has a lot of moments.
We always just try and I don't want anybody. A lot of the album, I was if it's hard. Sometimes you want something that can be played in the background and just give you a mood. And there's definitely songs on the album like that. I feel like Fly the Navigator is a song that can just live in the back, and if you listen, it's there. But if you don't want it to be there, it's not.
Right.
But we use a lot of pauses and stuff and that to jar people, because I feel it makes you listen and be what is that about?
Sure.
I only want fans who want to dig deeper. Fans who touch something and they're okay, I like it, and then they move on. They're not going to stay.
Yeah.
So I feel any fans I want are the ones that are what's this? What's Roscoe's wetsuit mean? What's this mean? What? Dig deeper, because I always want to make more. I want.
Yeah, it seems to be a lot of layers of conversation in your music and stuff.
I hope so. Yeah.
Cool. Let's play the record and explain that concept of 3005 real quick for the people that are just gonna hear it for the first time.
3005 is a record that I think is just about being alone. I think a lot of us have a problem with being alone now, just because we're never alone. You can always pick up your phone, and being alone is sometimes natural, but it's also scary. And whether it's your girl or your mom or your brother or whoever,
sure.
I want to make a song about being there for someone, even if you're even if you feel lonely, you don't feel like you can really connect. There's always somebody there who's
sure.
on your side. So that's what 2005.
Awesome, man. Let's get into it. Childish Gambino's on the show. It's the Takeover, DJ Reflex. It's the Takeover, Power 106, DJ Reflex, and Childish Gambino's on the show.
What's going on? I love this tiny bus.
It's yours.
Is it mine? Don't say that.
I'm gifting you other people's items, but
it's got Drake on it and Eminem on it.
Yeah,
it's really fly. It's Power 106 bus. Right.
Yeah,
I can't take that. But
yeah. So we just played that 3005, the single. We talk about lasting music that lasts, past the year, and even now where albums seem to kind of be the flavor of the week when they kind of come out, and it's everybody looks forward, always dropping, and then they experience it, and then it's okay, what's next? A mixtape, whatever.
That's why we wanted to release in December.
Yeah.
Because I knew it was our record company was don't. Yeah. Everybody was don't do it. Mary J. Blige has something coming out. All these big acts have something come out. But I was that's the only time when Man, my favorite albums when I had them over Christmas break and I listened to them.
Yeah, you
for
actually have the
like,
time. Yeah.
yeah, and then you tell your friends when you go back to school or whatever. Like,
And kids have money during the holidays, which is
yeah,
like the
I
perfect
don't
time
really
for spending.
understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Like,
marketing wise.
my boy was working at Amoeba. Like, he was like, that's when kids come in to like,
Yeah.
well, okay, what am I gonna do? Because I got to stay with my parents. And it's gonna be boring for like 2 weeks. What do I do?
Right.
And you listen to an album, so I felt like this was a perfect
Yeah.
album because it is bigger than just an album. So I feel like if you can really dig into it and really invest,
Sure.
and there's no time to really do that anymore.
Right.
So.
Let me ask you. So, the record of the single is called 3005. You know, imagine 3005, the actual year, right?
Okay.
You're dead by now.
Okay, I'm dead. Yeah.
And people are thinking back of Childish Gambino,
Right.
and they see your art, and they see some of the stuff you've done on TV and film, and the music that you made, and screenplays, and the comedy, and everything that you've done. What do you think people are gonna, you know, if they're gonna say, "Oh, he was this, he was that"? What do you think people are gonna take from what you're creating, or at least what you've created thus far in your life? I know that's a really deep question.
That's a deep question. That's good. That's a good question.
We're gonna play this back at your funeral, actually, on the screen. Just for the.
It's like, yeah, he
I'm gonna
actually
run in like,
said
no!
this, and like, this
Tell
is
his
what he
family to
wanted.
stop talking. This is what he
real.
wanted people to know.
I guess like 2000 in 2005. You know, it's weird. Like it's really crazy because me and Fan were talking about this in the car today, like wanting to see like am I happy to be alive now? I mean, like, I guess as a black dude, yes. Like,
as opposed
to like any time before this.
Sure.
But like, you know, like the future and stuff. Like, you know, I don't think there's any way I can conceive of what's gonna happen. Because I feel like you ask anybody, you even ask somebody in 1950, it was like, yeah, there'll be the internet, and they'll be like, what?
What? Yeah.
I don't even understand that concept. I hope, you know, I hope they look back at me kind of like, you know, because I hope I have it in me to be a great, like to be one of the greats. Like I hope I strive to be like mentioned with the Jay-Z's, you
Sure.
know, and Eminem's and like lyrical, like just people who add stuff to art. But if not, I want to be, you know, one of those side guys that people are like, that's my favorite. You know, like he specifically talks to me, that's my favorite.
Yeah.
Because I always kind of like that. Like, you know, like not everybody has to be Shakespeare and it's like, I really like, you know, this guy, like the Canterbury Tales. I really like that. Like those things where I don't know those guys. All I can live through is their work.
Their work, sure.
So like, I hope people kind of look back and like, you know, you know how Kanye says like, if they were writing the Bible, I'd be in the Bible.
Right.
I want to be like Job or something like that, where it's like not the main guy,
but just somewhere.
but
in there.
somewhere in there where it's like that dude's cool. I like that guy, you know.
Yeah, awesome, man. Let's play another tune. You got something else we can play tonight?
Yeah, I'm gonna give this to you because you're the homie.
Yeah,
I appreciate. This song is called Telegraph Ave. It's one of our favorites on the album. Like everybody in the house was just like kind of dancing to this song like for months. Like it's about Oakland, it's about the Bay, which I feel is kind of like my home away from home, and you know the connects between you guys and LA. Like, you know, actually on the album, Yessie's on this.
Yeah.
So you know, we kind of give Power 106 a shout out because we love you guys. So yeah, it's one of my favorite tracks on the album.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks for handing it over. Let's play this Telegraph Ave on the Takeover Show. Reflex and Childish Gambino. It's a Takeover Power 106. Childish Gambino. Thanks again for coming by, man.
No problem. Thanks for having me, man.
It's you know, it's always cool to see what you're up to. You know, I was thinking you know, about your project, and I just can't imagine, like, you have a lot of things being thrown at you, right? Like work wise, like you've got a lot to juggle in your career per se in regards to, like, you know, you've done the comedy stuff, you've done the television stuff. You definitely don't half-ass the rap shit. Like, you really go hard on it. Do you feel like for lack of a better way to explain, do you spread yourself thin? Do you feel like when you're working on music that you have to like shut everything off, or do you feel like it all kind of just makes who you actually are and that kind of comes out on its own?
I never really see them as different things. And I feel like, not to say that I don't or didn't spread myself too thin sometimes. Like,
Sure.
I think most of the time it's not. Because I feel like if I'm going to half-ass it, I won't do it.
Okay.
But a lot of things like with the last album and with every project I do, it's like you just don't know.
Right.
You don't know because I didn't know the business. Like, I didn't know anybody. Like, I didn't really know you. I've never been raised. I didn't know anything. I just kind of made songs. And then after going on tour and meeting, it's like, oh, the music business. I get it. Like,
right.
you understand a lot more, and you understand a lot more about how to make music and, you know, putting people on your record and learning how to do. And that's what I want to do. Like, you know, one of my favorite comedians, but just people like Louis C.K. He says like you learn so much more from mistakes. He's like, I like mistakes because you learn so much more, and I've learned a lot. And I definitely have learned, like, don't do things that you're not sure of. Like spreading yourself too thin, like, because this album's coming out. I wrote the script, but I'm also writing the script for the FX pilot at the same time. I only did that because I knew I had the means to. Like I knew that I could take care of those things, and there was a lot of opportunities that people kind of gave that I had to turn down.
Yeah.
But it's only because the product is the only thing people are going to see at the end. They're not going to be like, oh, this album's okay, but you got to remember he's doing a show. Like, they don't care.
Yeah.
It's like the album's got to be hot or it's not.
Sure. And well, thank you for coming by, man.
No
It's always
problem.
a pleasure to see you, and it's always lovely to see what you've been working
No,
on.
I
man.
appreciate it.
And
Thanks so much.
It's awesome, man. So congratulations. Looking forward to the whole album, and thanks for coming by. Childish Gambino.